Attention! Go!
So we are underway in the Hambleden Pairs Challenge Cup. Two pairs from Scullers and Leander, slightly converging as they go off the start.
Yes, a lot of the Buckinghamshire crews have arced around into the middle during the course of the regatta. St Paul's in the last race managed to avoid that, but we can see the Scullers crew have corrected well. They're straight now.
Scullers women's programme's just phenomenal, isn't it? I know they've attracted a lot of athletes that have come from American universities. Billy and Lindsay from Yale, Meg Saunders from Stanford. And
close to the booms there, aren't they, Martin?
oof, there's a little look. I'm just going to check who's steering in that boat. It doesn't actually say in the programme, but you would have thought the bow woman might be steering Billy and Lindsay.
So it's good correction, because quite often it's easy to overcorrect when you get close to the booms, and actually that was a good, precise correction, albeit might have cost them a little bit of boat speed. And you can see that the Leander pair now easing out. They've got 3/4 of a length, perhaps moving out to a length.
They're rowing very long, the Leander pair, aren't they? It's
Very long.
Not the high rate of striking, but that's really sort of good length around the front pin, really letting the boat come up towards them. And very deliberate catch, just timing their lock on really well.
Yeah, and you said that it wasn't a high rate of striking. They're at 32.5 at the moment to Tideway Scullers 36. So managing to underrate them this early in the race by 4 pips.
And as we saw in the final of the Diamonds with Graham Thomas underrating Seb Devereaux, you know, it helps in these headwind conditions if you can be a low rate. They may have a sort of tougher gearing, I guess, to have that low rate, but not too tough in these headwind conditions.
Again, the Leander pair is actually doubling up in the Remnant. They're joining the victorious Town crew in the Remnant later. So efficiency is definitely at a premium for this crew today. But they're at a length and a half up now. That's a margin that can be closed in a pair.
Yeah, we've seen races like that where the trailing boat in a pair has come behind in the last part of the race. It can change the speed of a small boat very quickly. These women on the right of your picture, Sam Redgrave and Susie Deere, were part of the Project Paris team in the 3rd World Cup in Zabaudia. They came 3rd in the pairs there, behind the Olympic pair, Phoebe Eriksson and Hedvig Rasmussen, who took that race, the Croatians, who came 2nd, and then it was this Leander pair. So they've raced at Zabaudia. Good tailwind conditions there, not like the headwind we've got today. And they've got some real pedigree.
And from this shot we can see the umpire George Hammond. George is umpiring his very last race at Henley today in the Hambleden Pairs. He's been a stalwart of the umpiring team here and the committee, but when an umpire reaches a certain age, which I shan't disclose, umpires gracefully retire, and so the last race is always a very special one.
Yeah, I think I was on the same junior team as George back in '75. It's showing my age there.
Thankfully, so far he hasn't had to do much work in this race.
So you can see it's Tideway Scullers who are about, what, I'd say a length and a bit down on Leander. Tideway Scullers, the crew on the left of your picture, Leander, the crew on the right. The older crew, 28 and 26 years of age. The two Scullers women, just 24 and 23 years of age. Leander nice and comfortable right out in the middle of the course.
And they've dropped their rating now. They're rating 30, Scullers were at 32.5, so underrating Scullers by less now. But you can see that drop in the rating now reflecting how comfortable they look, and accentuating the long, languid style that we saw actually in the winners of the Town Cup from Leander. And we can see that same style here.
Yeah, it's very uncomplicated rowing. They're coached by Ross Hunter. When they were the GB pair, they were coached by Morgan Bain and Williams. And a lot of work gone into the way that these two women row. Sam Redgrave learnt to row at the University of East Anglia, the bow woman in the Leander pair. And Susie Deere was inspired, the stroke woman was inspired by London 2012 and signed up to learn to row at Oxford Brookes. There you see Meg Saunders, the stroke of the scullers pair of Stanford University. She in fact was the 2020 Great Stanford Bake Off champion, would you believe?
I do believe it, Martin, because you just told me.
I thought that was a great stat to have on a Stanford bio.
Great stat indeed. We talked about the pedigree of these events earlier, so the holders of this event are Prendergast and Gowler, who won this in 2019. I think they also won it in 2017 when it was first introduced. And of course they went on to win a gold medal a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they were one of the outstanding crews of the Olympic rowing competition, Prendergast and Gowler, the two Kiwis. Grace Prendergast is coming over to row at Cambridge, I believe, in the boat race, one of a number of Kiwis.
I've heard that on the towpath too.
Yeah, boat race bound. So, don't know whether Prendergast and Gowler will be at an item as a pair in the World Rowing Championships of 2022.
And there is George Hammond umpiring his last race, one in which he hasn't had to raise his flag since dropping the red flag to start the race.
I'm sure that'll be a very memorable race for him. Scullers still continue to plug along. They look about 34, 35.
They were at 34. Leander have dropped their rate to 27. So comfortably in control.
What we're seeing is, you know, the strength of British women's rowing at a development level. It's really important that that gets fed through into the British system. We saw two veterans, Polly Swan and Hella Glover, in the British women's pair in the Tokyo Olympics. They rode a fantastic series of races, I thought. Did really well to grab fourth place. And it's women like Sam and Susie that we can see there that will be coming through to challenge for places in the women's pair, the women's 4, the women's 8 event at Paris in 2024, the British squad for those games.
Yeah, and they're well in control now, 25.5. Popley Water, difficult in a pair, and I think they're rowing it really nicely, maintaining that stability despite the bump and swell. Classy performance.
So as they come towards our commentary box, Sam Redgrave and Susie Deere taking it relatively easily in the last few strokes of the Hambleden Pairs Challenge Cup event for open women, which Leander take comfortably ahead of Lindsay and Saunders from Tideway Scullers. Battled the whole way down this course. Comfortable win for Leander, but it means a lot to them, as you can see.